Hi there, Bonnie Dwell here with Wit and Wisdom, and I have had such a fun week with two of my daughters here in Florida from Colorado. And before I introduce Julie, I want Darla to put her head in here and let you all see Darla. Hey Darla from Fort Collins, Julie from Lakewood, and today we are going to talk about how and what we saw God do during traveling youth camps recently, because miracles happened. Julie and her husband Gary are in charge of these camps, and there's a summer-long camp also. And if you can think of the dates, we'll do that later. And they have traveled around the country also, plus they've gone around the world with these camps. And so God has done so many things and changed so many lives through them. Julie is my second daughter. She lives in Lakewood, Colorado. She has 9 children with Gary, combined family, and 20 grandchildren
21.
now? 21. Mm-hmm. One of them still to be born.
Mm-hmm.
And just a great family, and I just love my daughters and all of their children and their spouses. And so I thought it'd be fun for you to hear from Julie while she's here in Florida.
Yes.
And you see, we've got fires going and candlelight. It has been so cold.
Well, cold is relative when you come from Colorado.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So Julie, tell us what you saw recently that God did.
So we do, my husband Gary and I do a traveling youth camp along with our help team. And this past October, we went to Kansas City to Dennis and Denise Capra's church, Faith Kansas City. Mm-hmm. And had kids come from all over. And we had some new kids come from Salina, Kansas. And one of the girls gave a report about how last year at our traveling youth camp in October, she had been healed of scoliosis. And she showed us the x-rays, and she showed the before and after pictures of how God had healed her back. So that was exciting.
That's for sure. Can you say, amen? That's exciting.
That's right. And then there was another report of a young man who is about 20, and he's from Kansas. And this summer, they were out having a big bonfire on the 4th of July. And he said he went to go throw something in the fire, and he tripped. And we're talking a bonfire that's like 10 feet tall, because when you live in the country, you can have gigantic fires. And not in Colorado, because they don't allow that. But in Kansas, they do. And so he tripped and face planted into the fire. Mm. And he didn't even catch himself. He just face planted into the fire. And he gave this testimony at Traveling Youth Camp. So he said, as he was laying in the fire, he said it took him about 5 seconds to figure out what was going on. And he said, I could feel my face burning, I feel my eyeball burning. And as he tried to get out of the fire, he rolled deeper into the fire. Wow. So his twin brother, was 90 yards away and heard him scream and made it to that fire in 5 seconds. And went into the fire and pulled him out. And the brother wasn't burned when he did that. So this young man is going in and out of consciousness, and they hospital and Fly for Life and all the things, and he's in the hospital. And when he came to consciousness, he told his mom, he said, okay, Mom, tell me the truth. What does my face look like? And she said, what do you mean? He said, no, tell me the truth. I can take it.
And he felt it burning.
He felt it burning when he was in the fire. Mm-hmm. And when she handed him a mirror, his face was not burned. His face was not burned. The hair on his head was not burned. Amazing. Now he had big scars. He had 3rd degree all over his hands and on his arms and legs, but his shirt wasn't burned. His hair wasn't burned. The hair on his arms was not burned. Mm. But he had all this skin that was just falling off. It was 3rd degree burns. And they said, you know what, we're going to have to do a skin graft. Mm-hmm. And but 3 days later in the hospital, They came to him and said, I don't know what happened, but your skin is alive. You can go home. We don't have to do a skin graft. So he was so excited. And then at Traveling Youth Camp, his hands looked like mine. There were no scars. He had red marks all over his arms where he had been burned, but his hands looked like mine. There were no red marks.
And he had gone hands first into the fire.
Well,
right?
face first.
Face first.
And there was nothing. His face is perfect. So that was an incredible thing. We were all talking about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yes.
You know, in the fire, here he is, and he just didn't burn. And he said, he brought his shirt, and he said it doesn't even smell like smoke, the shirt that he had when he was in the fire.
Wow. So how does this impact other young people when they hear a story like this?
Right, because those are such huge things in the physical world to have happened. So
Yes. Yeah.
it just is very encouraging, and
They can know the reality of our God.
that's right. And then the last thing we had happened to me personally, and we had a new young man come in from Salina, Kansas, and he'd never been there. And on Friday night, because these traveling youth camps are just a weekend, and so on Friday night, I had a word for him, and I grabbed him by the hand, and God had a word, a real strong word. And afterwards, he called me in the back of the church, and he said, you know, my name is not Alberto. He had his name tag. He said, my name is not Alberto. He said, nobody calls me by my name. Nobody knows my name but my parents. He said, I want you to pray and ask God what my first name is. And I was like, excuse me? I never had anybody ask me that before.
Really?
Fine,
Really?
have God tell you what your name is.
Yeah.
And I got a name immediately, but I was a little intimidated and stuff. And so I prayed all night and all day. And then the next night I said, okay, I only got one name when I was praying. And I said, the name I got was Juan. And he said, interesting. Okay, I'll tell you tonight at midnight. I said, what are you doing? But then later, I saw him later that night, and I said, hey, you said you'd tell me. And he said, and he pulled out his school ID, and he said, my name is Juan. And so he didn't respond.
Wow.
He was still like just so reserved, and I was excited because that was pretty
for sure.
amazing. And but then I heard later that when he went to his youth group, he said to his youth leader what had happened, and he said, God knows my name.
Oh.
So I really believe that was very impactful in
Yes.
his life, that some total stranger could,
Yes.
that God loved him enough to tell him his name.
To tell you. To
Tell me
share with
his
you
name.
His name.
So that he could.
So unusual.
So unusual. You know, that's what God does. Unusual things.
That's
Unusual.
right. So why don't you just go ahead and tell how many youth camps you've done around the world?
Right.
And when the next one is in Colorado, 27 years?
Yeah, this will be our 28th year.
28.
Coming up in June. It's the beginning of June, and it is, I'm not sure. It's the beginning. It's like June 9th. Sorry, I don't remember. And we do just a week-long youth camp in the Colorado Rockies. And it's,
So how did they get a hold of you to find out the real dates?
right. I'm on Facebook. You can get a hold of me on Facebook.
Yes, that's Julie Perry, Perry. And what was I going to say about that? Anyway, go ahead and keep talking.
So we did 27 years. This is going to be our 28th year of week-long youth camp in the summer, plus traveling youth camps in the spring and the fall.
And they're in Colorado now.
Yes.
And where in Colorado?
It is up above by Estes Park, if you've heard of the resort town, and at Peaceful Valley. A friend of ours got given a ranch there, and so camp. And so that's where we meet.
Yes.
And
you've done youth camps in South Africa. How many years there?
just one.
1 year.
4 years in Brazil and 5 years in England. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, and,
It's amazing
and 27 years in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just great. And so if you're a parent and you have here's what I was going to ask, what's the age?
It's 12 to 18.
Yeah.
That would
If you have a young person 12 to 18, get in touch with Julie and find out We can put it right on this in the comments section.
Oh,
Put
okay.
your information.
All right.
Yeah, find out about getting your child to a youth camp that is life-changing because the power of God is at work.
Amen.
Yes, amen. Thank you, Julie.
Yes, thank
Great
you.
job.